Hello and welcome to the Killtocraft Podcast, Episode 15. I am Vanessa, your host for the show, and you can find me at Instagram as Nessa Townley. You can find me at Ravelry as Killtocraft, and you can find me on the Ravelry Group, which is Killtocraft Podcast. So, big thank yous to all new and returning viewers, because I appreciate every single one of you, and I know it's been a while because it's been Christmas, but it's nice to see you again, and I love spending time with you, so I hope you love spending time with me too. So on to today's notices. I have just one main notice. If you keep seeing me looking over here, I've got a new shiny laptop, and I've got my show notes on there, so I don't have to look at paper anymore. So exciting. So main news is we've started a knit along in the Ravelry Group, which I was intending on starting next week. However, due to circumstances that I noticed when browsing Ravelry, I decided to start it a little earlier. I jumped onto the bandwagon because I've been discussing with you over the past few weeks doing a sweater knit along through January, but I noticed that Mina had popped up a thread for, two threads, the chatter and FO thread for a sweater along as well, and I was like, oh, that's what I wanted to do. So I messaged Mina and asked politely if she would like to join up and make it a bit of a team, Knitting Expat team, Killtocraft knit along. So anybody who is joining in Mina's sweater along on the Knitting Expat group, you can also post your photos, FOs or whips over on my group as well, and you'll be able to win extra prizes. So there's more possibilities. If you go on the group, if you go on my group, there's a chatter thread and an FO thread, both linked to Mina's threads as well, to make it easily accessible and easier to find. And you can find all the rules there. Mina's sweater along is worked out in 3-month periods throughout the year, so hers is a year-long sweater along. It's for 2016, and mine is just for the first 3 months, so I'll be closing the FO thread on the 31st of March, and I will draw prizes on the 2nd of April, I think is a Saturday, on the podcast. So exciting. And I didn't think I'd have any prizes to show you just yet, but a parcel turned up the other day, and I have a prize package to show you, which I'm super excited about, and you will be too, because it's absolutely gorgeous. So yes, I will stop right there and say come join. I already have plans for what I'm knitting. I think I was debating either the Maud sweater or the True Friend top by Vera Vaccanelli. I'm not sure how to pronounce her name. And I'm going for the True Friend because I ordered the last skein of This Is Halloween in Molly's store, and this is for my True Friend sweater, so it's going to be a lovely purpley colour like this, and it's going to have some grey yarn as well in there, which I bought from Berlin when I visited last year, so it's super exciting. And I'm just waiting on that to arrive now, and I got an email saying it had been sent off, so excited. So you might see me starting my sweater next week, which is super cool. I've done something with my laptop. I've pressed on the actual screen rather than scrolling. Silly me. So, how was your Christmas holidays? Because mine was quite hectic. I finished work the day before Christmas Eve, because I'd booked off Christmas Eve, and I spent Christmas Eve getting a couple of last bits and just relaxing, basically. I casted on my new socks, and then in the evening we went and visited friends. I didn't get much of my sock knitting done because I couldn't take my socks with me to my friend's house, because they're a shared house, and it's a fully smoking house because everybody in there seems to smoke, and I don't anymore. I haven't for just over a year now, and I think it's a year and 3 or 4 months, so exciting. I haven't even gone near the things. And so taking my knitting, I didn't want it to smell, so I left them at home because I just casted them on. I don't want to have a full week of smelly socks to knit up, and I don't want my project bag smelling either. Just personal preference. And then Christmas Day we went to my family's and spent the day with them and had Christmas dinner and opened presents, which is really exciting. And then we went the next day to Will's family, which is down south, which is near Thrapston, near Kettering. And we had our friend come and pick us up, and then we both got the train back separately later on in the week. I came back on the Monday to look after Lincoln because I don't like to leave him too long. If I'm in the same country, I will come back home. I want to make sure he's okay. He is okay, but you know, I always think, oh, he might miss me, and he doesn't at all. And then I've lost my train of thought. And then Will came back on New Year's Day with his dad and his girlfriend, and we went for dinner, and it was lovely. So that was really nice. So yeah, an all around long Christmas, and I had a few days then to myself, which is kind of why I did a podcast. I hope nobody minds too much. I was going to podcast on the Saturday after New Year's Day, because Will was working. So I've got a bit of I don't know, side of my face feels a bit itchy. So Will was working and I was going to podcast, but you know when you just feel like 3 days to yourself, relaxing, well, trying to relax, doing a lot of cleaning, kind of wasn't enough time, so I kind of really enjoyed soaking up a little bit of extra time to myself, so I added in the 4th day of freedom. So that's why it's a 3-week podcast. I do apologise. And I will be getting back onto the 2-week bandwagon, because I think it's a bit odd, really. I kind of really like doing the 2-week podcasts. It feels really long between the 3-week ones. So we'll be getting back into that, I think, this year. So my Christmas Eve, with my Christmas Eve socks, I cast it on with everybody else for the little bobbins Christmas Eve cast on, which was lovely. And you may have seen me knitting these on Instagram. These are the This Way That Way socks by Mina Phillip, which is Mina from the Knitting Expat Podcast. Hi Mina, this is like the Mina episode. These socks are absolutely gorgeous, and the yarn is some yarn that Mina actually gifted me in a swap that we did last year, and the yarn is Knit Picks, stroll fingering, hand painted, and the colourway is woodland. And it's gorgeous, and I love the detail with the slip stitch pattern. I think they look lovely. I'm really impressed with the pattern. It was really intuitive and easy to. It was really easy to knit, and generally really happy with them. I casted on and did the ribs on the Christmas Eve, and then I got through, I think, a leg and another leg on Boxing Day. And I turned both of the heels the day after that, and then I did a day each on the leg, the foot, and then a day where I did the toe, and I ended up finishing them on New Year's Eve, which was really, really great, because then I got to cast on another pair of new socks. Yay! But yeah, I really love the pattern, and I really love the variegated yarn with the pattern. In fact, I think I've found now my pattern for when I do variegated socks, because I find it hard to find patterns that I like variegated yarns in, but this is perfect, utterly perfect. Me and you have done a cracking job, and the pattern was so easy to understand. I may have even altered it slightly just for a bit more of my fit, but I think I might even cinch it in a little bit more next time when I do these. But it was great. It was just really good. I'm even thinking I might get another colour of this stuff, because it's so nice to knit with. So I altered the pattern for the sock slightly. The pattern calls for a 2x2 rib, and I did a 1x1 rib because the knit stitches of the rib joined into the first slip stitches of the pattern really evenly. So I did that, and I've got pattern notes as well on my Ravelry page, but then I decreased after the rib, because usually when you do rib and you go into stocking stitch you do decrease slightly, and I changed needles. So because I changed needles, I did need to decrease. So I think I did 2 front and back decreases. Did I do 2 front and back? Yeah, I did 2 front and back in the first row, because the first row is a knit row. And then I split my stitches onto on the DPNs, and I put 28 for the slip stitch pattern at the front, and I put the rest at the back for the back of the leg. And I did the leg, and then I got to the heel, and I think I had about 32 stitches, so I needed to make sure that I did a bit more turn in the heel. So I did, I think it was 11 stitches at each side. I wrapped and turned and left 10 in the centre. And then I did the entire foot, and then I decreased just before the toe. But they look gorgeous. Really happy with them. And the only reason why I'd change them again and maybe cinch them in, or maybe even try the smaller size, is because I think these just fit to my leg. And they don't have, I think they have half an inch of negative ease, which isn't quite what I was going for. I think I need a little bit more. So instead of worrying too much next time, I might actually just cast on the small size and try it first. But they come out gorgeous. Really happy with them. And I knit those on my new set of Knit Pro Zings. And these needles are gorgeous. I have put them back in here because I'm making a double pointed needle case to put them in. So until I've got that sewn up, I've just put them back in here for looking after them. I absolutely love them. They're really quick to use, like knitting wise, really sleek. The joins on the needle are absolutely seamless, especially on these, because I actually made sure when I was at Yarndale and I took them out of the packet and checked, because I want a set of needles that say where it says on the packet. Perfectly smooth surface it says on the back, so I aim to get that. And then the only thing that I found with these is the day that I think I posted on Instagram, and I was knitting by the fire in my friend's living room, where we were staying, and it was an open fire. It's gorgeous. I love that fireplace. And my hands started to get obviously a bit warmer, and because of the clamminess, these started to feel a bit sticky. And then my stitches were not as easy to move across the needles. They weren't gliding the same. They kind of made the surface a little bit feel like when I knit on like bamboo needles, and it starts to feel a little bit tighter, your stitches. But either way, they were lovely to work with. Really enjoyed working with those. Sorry if you can hear crinkling as I put them back in. I love them that much that I actually really want a set. I've never had a set of double pointed needles, and I think that these are the ones that I'd love to go for because they're so nice. And even though they do grip when my hands are warm, that doesn't bother me. It doesn't. I can always, if it's where it's warm weather outside and they do grip a bit too much, I can always swap them to like wooden needles. That is fine with me. But I would love a set of these. They're just stunning. So that's theirs. And you should check out Mina's pattern. It's absolutely beautiful. It's on Ravelry to download. I think it costs a few pounds, maybe three or four, I'm not sure. But yeah, and it's a gorgeous pattern. It's well worth knitting up. So next thing on my agenda, finished objects. The second finished object I finished, which was also which was inspired by Mina of the Knitting Expat Podcast, because she knitted one a few months back. This is the Beezy hat, and this is by Katrine Schubert, and this pattern for a while was free on Ravelry, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I used some old stash yarn, which was King Cole Alpaca DK, baby alpaca DK, so it's really soft. It's beautiful. And I decided that I wanted to try a little bit of something different. I've been doing brioche for my Brioche Delicious wrap, which is for the knit along, and then decided that why not try something a little bit different, and decided to do the hat as well. I'd rather like to do a smaller hat though, but I finished it. It's kind of a slouchy number, but I don't think it looks too bad. It's quite nice. It's warm, snuggly, so I'm really happy with that. I love the pattern, and it's really easy. If you've done brioche before, it's really easy, and it tells you how to decrease and increase so well. It's so easily understood. However, I stupidly did half of a set of decreases with the wrong decrease by accident. I thought it said the right leaning decrease, and it said the left. So throughout the rest of the pattern, I decided to not go back because it took so much work to get to that point. It may have been a good 10 rounds of brioche or more, and I decided to just continue with that decrease that I'd started doing because, well, who knows but me and you guys now. But as you can see, that this one's really neat and it runs up straight, and if I can find it here, it's like steps rather than flowing all the way up in one straight stitch, but it has the same feel and aesthetic to it, so I'm not gonna mind too much. So I did decrease wrongly, silly old me, but sometimes those sort of things happen, and sometimes I'm more willing to go with it than other times, and this was one of those times. I worked on my Knit Pro Symphonies, which are just some small 40cm long wooden fixed circular, and they're perfect for knitting like double knit hats or edgings on cuffs and things. So yeah, I really love it. So the only thing that I'd really like to try is one of her other patterns that are a bit more fitted, and I noticed that I'd got another 3 or 4 of her patterns to have a go at, so that's good. It's great news. So that's the BZ hat by Katrine Schubert. I hope I'm saying her name right. I think it's Schubert. So that's lovely. So next up on my things to show you. It keeps skipping. So next thing on my list, on my show notes, I think I've got a bit of time to show you this before I need to put it to the computer. This is my Because I Love You wrap, which is a test knit that I'm doing for Amy Meeks, which is, she's inked indigo on, God, I can't think today, on Instagram. So this is how it's coming out. It's absolutely beautiful. And I'm loving this shawl. I think it's gonna, well, this wrap, I don't think Amy is too impressed with calling it a shawl, so it's not finished yet. But you can see that it's getting there. And I love the pattern. The repeats are really simple. You can get it in your head quite easily. You just need to remember to do your increases and decreases in your picot edge, which is over here. And you can see that there's little picots on the edge there. And those will block out a little bit when the garment gets blocked. You see them? Yeah. So, I used some of Vicky's from Bear & Voller, some of her barefoot sock, and that I cannot pronounce, so I'll get out a label. So that's the colourway. I don't know how to pronounce that at all. But it's gorgeous yarn. I love Vicky's barefoot sock base, it's gorgeous. And then the other yarn that I'm using is the Wool Barn. And this is the silk sock in the faded jeans colourway, and this is gorgeous as well. This is a 50% superwash merino and 50% silk, and this one of Vicky's is 80% virgin wool and 20% pomade, and they are beautiful. And as you can see, they work so nicely together, and that's mainly due to Vicky and her help in choosing another colour for me, because I got myself in a bit of a pickle and I wasn't sure what to do about it. So, beautiful. Absolutely love it. Sorry if you can hear my neighbours banging. They're quite rude, and sometimes they just stomp around and they let their kids run up and down all day. And I've asked him previously to keep an eye on his kids doing this, because it makes my light shake and my ceiling. It doesn't seem to care, which is very nice, since I asked him very politely, and I also let him use our parking space at the minute. So, it's thoughtful, isn't it? Anyway, on a tangent. So this is coming on. I've got a few more repeats to finish, and I've already sent back my checked version of the pattern to Amy last night, which is quite nice. So I'm really looking forward to having that completely done. It's on the way. The pattern is going to be released, I think, next Friday, and I've heard down the grapevine that Vicky of Bear & Voller is also doing some colourways for that shawl, which will also be in next week's update. I think she's doing 10 2-colour skein sets, kits for the knit along, which is happening in the Periscope Sisters knitting group. So you should check that out. And I think the knit along is happening up until Valentine's Day. So that's really nice. And I'm using that shawl for a part of my first part of my Make Two Along, which is hosted by Jenny of the Tiny Paper Foxes. And I also have the second half, which I should show you later, but I'll show you now. Stuff it. So this is the second half of my Make Too Long project. If you see that, that's the skirt that I'm going to be making, and it has pockets. And there's a couple of other variations as well. But I love this. I think it's going to be super cute, and it's going to work really well with my wrap pattern. And I purchased that the other day. I think it arrived just before Christmas, I think. So, whilst I was knitting on my shawl, I spent quite a bit of time watching podcasts to get through some of it. And I've also been getting through a few podcasts at work as well, because I think like having such a long holiday and then jumping back into work has like shocked the system. So it's weaning me slowly back in, so I've been listening to the odd podcast or two. But I've been really enjoying knitting to the Once Upon a Time Corgi podcast, which is by Gabby, and she's lovely, really pleasant to watch, really enjoyable, love her personality as well. And she's got two cute little corgis. One's called Audrey and one's called Erin, I believe. And oh, he's so sweet. I want to squeeze him. Anyway, she's super sweet. She spins. She's just got a new wheel, which is really exciting. She showed how they were putting it up in their last video. She's also got a big love of Star Wars, which so do I, because when I was growing up, me and my mum used to watch Star Wars. We used to really love it. One of our favourites. And she's just generally really good and really pleasant to watch, so you should go over there and check her out. And then the other podcast that I've been watching while I've been like knitting or working is I haven't been watching, I've been listening to, is the Twisted Stitches podcast, which is by Twee and Kimberly. And I've really enjoyed listening to this podcast. I do enjoy the audio podcasts, because when I'm busy at work, I can really like set my mind into my work and enjoy listening to them chatter, and they are lively, fun and enjoyable to listen to. The girls have a big love for anything rainbow, unicorn, slight zombies. They love horror, and well, I think Twee loves horror. I'm not sure about Kimberly. But yeah, and the girls are just generally really enjoyable to listen to, so you should also go and check them out. Go. So yeah, they're really cheery, and I love that about podcasts, is when you've got somebody on the end like really cheery and you're listening to them. It brightens up your day a little bit, which is I think what I needed this week at work, because getting back into it has been difficult. I think it's gone a little bit dark in here, so I do apologise. I'll move over a little bit so I'm nearer. So whilst I've been listening to them, I started my new pair of socks, which was New Year's Eve, whilst I was treating myself to a viewing of the new Star Wars movie, whilst we're on about Star Wars. Will's not really massively into Star Wars. I am. I remember when I was really little actually going out to all of the HMV stores that are local to us, which is only a few, trying to find the video box set for the first Star Wars trilogy, A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. And I was only very little, and I remember us finding one, the last one, and my mum bought it, and we went home and watched them. And I loved them, and that was the first time I ever saw them. And I absolutely adore Star Wars. Will wishes that he could get into Star Wars, but sci-fi isn't really his thing, and every time I put Star Wars on and I big it up and I'm like, oh my god, it's amazing, he falls asleep. So I've kind of given up on the hope that he'll actually sit through and watch it and enjoy it fully. But whilst I was in the cinema waiting for the showing to start, I decided that it was light enough and to do a bit on my new Vika socks. And I've done this pattern before. It's a brilliant pattern, and so far it is just 15 centimetres of twisted rib. which is fine with me because they fit so snugly around your leg and are so cosy and warm. It traps the air in a little bit, and I love them for that. And it kind of got a bit dark, and I started realising that my needles weren't flowing as well as I'd have hoped, and not these ones, these are my new ones, but I got some little ones, if I got them in here, these ones. I bought these online a while ago, and for some reason the tips keep catching on the singles of the yarn, and I ended up having quite a few split stitches, and I dropped a stitch, and just bad things started happening, and it had gotten dark because the film had started, and I decided that actually I can't do this, and I decided to put the knitting back in my bag. And it wasn't because I can't do it, it's because my needles weren't working greatly enough. So the next day I went out and I bought myself a pair of, not the next day, the day after that, went out and bought myself a new pair of Knit Pro Symphony needles to do the job, and they work lovely. They're a little bit longer, I think, than these ones, ever so slightly, a few centimetres longer. Give myself a DPM moustache. Anyway, so I'm knitting this in Lang Yowl. Is it Yowl? Or I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but I'm going to say Yowl. Yowl Magic. And it's in the pastel rainbow shade, which is stunning. I love this. I've had this in my stash for so long, unused, untouched, not unloved. I basically had it in my stash for so long because I didn't want to break into it, because it's so pretty. Look at it. Anyway, the girls at the Twisted Stitches podcast are doing a rainbow and unicorn cal, and I noticed this like a day or so afterwards, after I'd casted these on, and asked them if I could politely join in because I'd decided to crack into this. I've had this for about 6 years, this yarn, and I didn't break into it because I didn't want to waste it on a project that I wouldn't enjoy. And I decided that Fika socks I would enjoy and cast them on. And so I've put these into their rainbows and unicorns knit along, which is going until the 31st of March. So that's brilliant. Really enjoying these. But the twisted rib is just taking so long to do, I have to say. I think I did about 5 centimetres yesterday, which is most of that blue section. It seems to be taking a while. It has gotten so dark. I'm sorry, it's really rainy outside. It's gone a bit miserable. After I've edited this, I'm actually going to nip out, go and get a few bits that I need in the house, and then I'm going to crash at Costa's for an hour with a coffee and my knitting. Maybe a bit of reading as well, because I've started reading a few new books. While we're on the book subject, I've started reading a winter book by Tove Jansson. She writes the Moomin books, and I was a bit disappointed because I realised that all of this, I've already read in a previous book of hers, which was her memoirs book, which I read last year. And I only realised this a few stories in, and I was like, I swear I've read these. I have. So, I'm starting again at the back portion of the book that I haven't read, which is just under half of the book. It's a bit annoying. Especially since I was supposed to be reading this coinciding with this. So I was going to read some of this, some of this, this, and this. Anyway, I'm reading also The Great Gatsby, and I love this cover. Bought this book on eBay second hand, but the book was like it was brand new, and I'd managed to bend the corner on it already. So yeah, but it's a gorgeous book, love the cover, and really enjoying it. I'm not far through, but I've done a good portion. And yeah, really loving these, so I'll have those done soon, I'm reckoning. Right, so The Fika socks, if I didn't mention, were a pattern by Mary Beth White, I believe. Yes. And it was from the Pom Pom Quarterly issue 12, which is the spring issue of 2015, which was last year. Whilst at the cinema, by the way, I won't give too many spoilers or anything, but you'll know what I'm on about if you've seen it. I don't really think it's a spoiler, it's just more of an entrance of a character, and I made the lady that I was sitting pretty next to, there was a space in between us, I made her jump because I squealed. Because C-3PO came on, and I was so excited to hear his voice and see his face that I actually squealed and made her jump. So, whoops. But I was just like, yay! And yeah, poor lady, I'm so sorry. My excitement I couldn't contain. I just love it so much. Absolutely great film, by the way. If you are going to see it, I'd advise seeing it because it's amazing. And totally worth watching. It's just awesome. I'm glad that they're back. I couldn't really get down with the last few films that they did for Star Wars, and I really didn't enjoy them. I went to see them at the cinemas and just nowhere near as good as the 3 original trilogy films. And then they brought out this one. It's really good. So that's how I spent my New Year's Eve. And then I came home and I finished the toe on my This Way, That Way socks. And I grafted them while I watched the last episode of the Freak Show season of American Horror Story, which is also amazing. I love that. It's just so good. And then I went to bed. So, but that was I went to bed at nearly 2 in the morning. So I stayed up pretty late. So, next section of the podcast today is hoardings. And I suppose I should show you some of the things that I got for Christmas. So, sorry for crinkling. The first thing that it's not one of the first things, but I got this for Christmas from Will. And he bought me the, oh god, you can barely see it because of the light. The Love at First Stitch book, which is by Tilly, of Tilly and the Buttons. I can't say her last name. Wollens? I don't want to pronounce that too wrong. But absolutely beautiful. If you've seen on I forgot to bring it in. If you've seen on my Instagram, you'll see some fabric that I purchased, which was it was like a burgundy with a bright pink polka dot on it, and it was some fabric from Michael Miller, one of his collections, and I found that my local yarn store had a fabric sale, and I got 2 meters. I think 2 meters was £12, so it's £6 a meter. And because there was some hanging over the roll, I got that for free. So I got 2 and a bit meters for £12, which is great. And that's going to go to making the Delphine skirt on the front of the book. I love all of the things in this book. The only concern that I have is that both of the skirts, I'll show you a picture. Both of the skirts are skirts at the waist. I don't know if many of you have a curvy body shape, but I have an okay waist, but I have a bit of an hourglass shape. I'm very hippie, and those skirts actually kind of terrify me a bit because they make me look bigger than what I am. They sometimes accentuate my tummy and my waist area, which I'm not awfully keen on. So I'm a little bit nervous about making them because most of my skirts actually sit better if they sit a little bit lower down so that the band is actually on my tummy, just below my belly button area. So I don't know if I can adapt the pattern to sit slightly lower. maybe, where it might not look the same. We will see. Only time will tell. I'm going to do a muslin anyway, and if anybody knows, actually, I have a question about muslins and sewing. I've never had to make one before. It's not my first time sewing a garment, but I've never actually made one, and I was wondering if the fabric of the muslin should match the fabric that you are choosing to sew, so that it sits the same way when you try it on, to check if it fits right or looks right for tinking, or whether that just doesn't matter. If anybody knows, please get in touch with me, because I'd love to know. If you get in touch with me on the Ravelry Killtocraft Podcast Group, and then in the episode thread, I'd love to know your advice, because I've never done one. So the next thing that I bought as well, received at Christmas, was a felting kit. And this is great for beginners. It's from creativebumblebee.co.uk, which I've never looked at, and I've still not checked it out. This is a cherry cupcake, and it's a pincushion, and it's got everything that I need. So it's got 3 shades of Corindale wool, and there's green, red and cream, and a big blob of red at the top. It's got a needle felting tool, which I'm assuming is this, and then for felting needles, sponge, which is this, pins, which are up here, and an instruction on how to go about it. And it says all I'll need is a towel. At home is an old towel, so that's really cool. So I know that Andy and her daughter will be really impressed, because I'll have to do this at some point soon. It's my first attempt, so I'm really looking forward to that. If you haven't watched, I'm assuming most of you have watched Andy's podcast. Andre Sunitz and her daughters share their crafty goodness, and her and her daughter have been attempting actually felting things like gnomes and cute stuff like unicorns and things, so you should go and check those out. I also received a package from my good friend Lara of the Fawn Knits, and we did like a little Christmas package, so we sent each other a box of tea that we really both wanted and we're looking forward to receiving, and then we filled it with like little bits, so like biscuits, chocolate. I think I actually got alcohol in mine, which I never thought of sending, which I'm a bit gutted. I could have totally sent you something, a little bottle of tipple. Oh, I'll learn from my mistakes, and next time I'll send you something. And I also sent her a little bit of happiness, a little mini skein of yarn, and Lara sent me this little knitting bag, which I haven't used yet. And she said it reminded her of me. So, which is so cute. Look at how adorable it is. Oh. So I think this is gonna be lovely, because I'm gonna put a sock project, I think, in here. But it's got cats on it. Look at those. It's got little kitties all over it. I love it. It's gorgeous, and it's got this lovely fabric inside as well. I don't know if you can see it because it's so dark in here now. But look at how gorgeous that fabric is. It's like leaves and things. It's gorgeous. And it's got one of her little tags on. If you haven't checked out Lara's shop, she's on holiday at the minute in Mexico. Lucky lady. And she's fully enjoying herself sock knitting in the sun, which I wish I was, as it's miserable outside. And if you haven't checked out her shop, I'd put it on your to-do list, because she will be opening back up, I think, next weekend. And her bags are just stunning. Look at them. They're gorgeous. So thank you so much, Lara. I should have made her something a little bit bigger than just a bird of happiness, but I did make it out of some hand spun that I had, and I'm hoping that she loved it. So yes, So those treats aside, and then I treated myself to a D-stash skein before the holidays, and it arrived so quick because it arrived before Christmas. So if you watch the Fawn Knits, you may know that Lara had a skein of this in her club colourway kit a few months back, and this is the skein of Siren. If you can see that, it's just stunning. The colours are immensely beautiful and bright. I'm going to move things because I feel like this is just clouding the window. So I'm just going to zoom in on it a little bit. This is just stunning. It's kind of blowing out the camera a little bit, but it's got purples and pinks and blues and neons, and her socks came out amazing, so I can't wait to knit with this. I'm really excited. So I picked this up on D-Stash, and it wasn't too expensive. It cost me altogether £25. So, and it came from America, so basically I've probably paid about the same for the skein as what I would over here, and then the postage, so that's not too bad. And I really loved it so much that I wanted my own. So I grabbed some of that. And then whilst on holiday, I went to the yarn shop near me and picked up a ball of this. I don't know if anybody has seen this before, but this is Rico Designs Las Vegas, and I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it. I'm hoping you will be able to because it's so cool. It has a blue thread of sparkle in it. How pretty is that? Ugh. So I had to buy some because sparkly socks, yes please. And they have all these awesome colourways as well. They have like a purple one, the blue one which I've got, the grey one, pink, oranges, and then like it looks like a sandy set colours. So they're really beautiful. Look how gorgeous it is. So I really can't wait to knit with that as well. It's going to be amazing. And then the other thing that I treated myself to was, this is in my Knit Gizmo Makes bag, which is absolutely adorable and so cutely well made. She has a shop on Etsy as well, if you go and check her out. And I bought myself some more baby alpaca DK King Cole because this is so cute, this colourway. And I intend on designing myself a mitten pattern for this. So I'm excited about that. So I'm going to be starting that very soon. I've got 2 skeins, hopefully one for each hand, and it'll be so warm and snuggly because this stuff is just gorgeously soft, which is the same yarn that I made my BZ hat out of, if you're wondering. So I'm keeping that in my Knit Gizmo Makes bag for the time being. I then got another package in the post just after I'd ordered that skein, which I was expecting, which is a gorgeous package from Hueloco, which is Nicole, and I'm sure a lot of you have checked her podcast out, but if you haven't, you can find her on YouTube as Hueloco, and she also has a Etsy shop called Hueloco, and she does excellent tutorials on how to, I think she did one on how to make a project bag. She also does them on how she also does them on her dyeing process, which is really great, and it shows you and explains how to go about dyeing your own skeins. So I'd expressed a love for her Rainbow Bright colourway, and she offered to send me a package, but I was only expecting the Rainbow Bright colourway because she asked me kindly if I'd like to review it, and I said of course I would love to. So this is on her Phyllis base, which is a superwash merino and a nylon. So that's this. and it is absolutely beautiful. I'm hoping you can see it quite well because for some reason it's bright. If I put something up, it goes a little bit weird, does the camera. So this is stunning. Look at all those colours. So bright pinks, bright oranges, a lovely bit of brown, some speckling, gorgeous aqua colours. Again into pinks and yellows, bright neon yellow, which is gorgeous. More pink. You know me, I love pink. Like, I can't get enough of the pink. And something funny happening with my... I wonder if I could wave something white in the background, if it would help. Maybe a little bit. Just zoom in on the skein. So you've got your bright yellows. I don't think it is helping really, is it? Something odd going on with my camera. So I think you can see it quite well like this, can't you? So it's gorgeous. And I will be reviewing this. At the minute I can just say that it's really soft and the colours are amazing, and you can tell that she's so good at her dyeing. Oh, it's just awesome. So I will be knitting a pair of socks with this and testing out the Rainbow Bright. I was very intrigued as whether anybody else had actually knitted with the yarn and a few of her other colourways, but when I searched her Hueloco tags and things, I couldn't find anybody that had. So I'm quite excited to knit with this, and then I can get a picture popped up on Instagram where it looks like, because I bet it's going to be amazing and colourful and crazy, which I love. But then Nicole, absolutely, oh, she's just a lovely person, sent me this gorgeous package. If you can see it. And it's got some mini skeins in, it's got a gorgeous skein and a project bag. I can't really... My camera just seems to be washing things out, I don't understand why. It's going really dark. I'll put it to this side, maybe that will help. No? It's gonna have a funny... So you can see the project bag, the yarn. I'll take a photo later and I'll pop it up either on the Ravelry Group or on my blog, because I am going to review some of these items. Sorry for the crinkly. I'm not sorry, I love listening to the crinkly, it's exciting. So these are the May skeins she sent me, which are gorgeous, and some of them contain sparkle, some of them have tweed flecks in them. So she sent me these. Gorgeous colours. She also sent me on her spun base, which is 80% merino, superwash merino, 10% cashmere and 10% nylon on a fingering weight, which is 400 yards, 100 gram skein, in the colourway Twitter pated. I hope I said that right. So that's the tag. And then this is the skein, which is just astonishing. I wonder if I move out of the way a bit, if that would help. I don't think it is it? Or if I just move that. No? I just don't think my camera's wanting to work for me today for some strange reason. But I'm sure you get the gist slightly of the colours. I was hoping that this would work really nicely in the window, but it doesn't seem to be wanting to. But you can see all the gorgeous blues, the slight, kind of a custardy yellow, it's really a light yellow, with hints of pink in there, and oh, it's just beautiful. It's so pretty, and then these darker speckles thrown in. It's just amazing, and this is so soft with it having cashmere in, it's so soft to touch. I got my partner to have a feel of it, and he was like, oh yeah, that's lovely. So that's that. And then she also sent me one of her cute project bags, which has little elephants and mushrooms and little ladybugs on here. So sweet, look at that, it's adorable. And I just unzip, got a lovely little pull on it, which is really nice. And gorgeous, it's got a gorgeous bottom. If you look in there, it's lovely made. The sewing is just beautiful. So this is just amazing, Nicole. Thank you very much. And I'm going to include these because technically I wasn't expecting them. And I could have been really cheeky and kept them, but I'm not. I'm going to actually give these away as part of the Sweater Cal prize, which is why I think you guys will be really excited, because how nice are these? Like, how lovely. Why does it keep doing that? But anyway, so yarn, project bag, mini skeins. You cannot go wrong. This package is gorgeous. And I will take a picture, I will post it on Instagram, and I will also post it on the Ravelry Cal page, so you know what is up for your first prize. So absolutely gorgeous. I wish I could show them a little bit better without them getting all funny. I actually do not know what's happening with my camera today. It seems that it just doesn't want to play with me, which is not fair. Because it's playing now. Maybe it just needs my white face up front to make the camera do something I want it to do. So you can see why I got quite excited when I found all this in an envelope. And I'm hoping you guys will absolutely love this, because I'm not kidding, it is amazing and gorgeous. So yeah, if you haven't checked out Nicole's Etsy, you should go over there, because she sells some wonderful yarns and all in lovely colours. She also sells project bags. She also sells patterns. She's got a knit along at the minute going for her pattern, which is the Atwood Shawl. And if you go over there, I think she also has kits now prepared for the knit along, so you could also treat yourself to a kit if you wished. And basically check out her tutorials, her video tutorials, and subscribe to her, because she does some lovely videos, shares some lovely things, and I actually can't say much more lovely stuff about Nicole. She's so nice and kind. We've only chatted every now and then a little bit, and she is just a lovely person. So go check her out. I don't know if I've got much else to say today. I'm going to check on my show notes again. But I think that's pretty much it. And I will show you how the Rainbow Bright socks knit up gradually as I have them in works in progress, which is exciting. And I hope you're all happy about what you might win in a few months' time. So just a reminder that the knit along for the sweater knit along, this ends on the 31st of March. So you've got 3 months to prepare. 3 months to prepare something to knit. You could even knit 2. I think 3 months is very viable that you could knit 2 sweaters. And I have the True Friend, the Maud, and I have a cabled sweater I need to knit my dad this year, which, yes, my dad has asked kindly for a fisherman styled cabled sweater. Yeah, last year he said they never wanted anything knitted from me because he doesn't like knitwear. And then I think he saw what nice things I made for my mum and my brother, and we got on about fisherman's rib and how that was used primarily in some fisherman's sweaters to keep them warm. As I'm explaining this, my dad was like, fisherman's sweaters are really expensive. Yes, they are, Dad. And he was like, would you knit me one? And Cossie seemed so eager, and he was really impressed that I could make him one. I said yes, fair enough. So I need to start that soon, very soon, because if I'm going to have that knitted for Christmas, I need it started now because it's cabled, crazy cabled. He wants it all over, fully cabled, madness. So that's going to be interesting. You'll get to see that, but I've actually banned Christmas presents other than that, unless I've got a pair of socks or something that I've made that are lying around that I haven't worn in my drawer, bedside drawer, then they might be gifted. But otherwise, I am not knitting any other gifts this year. Focus on Dad's sweater, because it's gonna be insane. So insane. So apart from that, I've had such a lovely holiday and it's been amazing. It's actually really nice to get back to podcasting and chatting to you because I'm having so much fun doing it. It's now 11:30 and I started filming at 9:30, so it's taken me a few hours to get possibly an hour's worth of filming done. Don't know how that happens. My computer does though. I have to put on each segment of the videos onto my computer, so it's about half an hour, and then that takes like a good 15 minutes to do or something. So it's taken quite a bit of time, and I've got processing and editing and things to do yet. So I hope you all have a lovely weekend and have really enjoyed catching up with me. I've enjoyed catching up with you. If you are also interested, YouTube subscribers are getting higher by the day, and I noticed that I'm gaining up to the 700 mark, and I'm thinking when I get to the 700 mark I might do a 1,000 subscriber giveaway. But to join the 1,000 subscriber giveaway, I'm thinking you'll have to come over and join on the Ravelry Group, and then the giveaway will be hosted there and make it easier. So once I hit the 700 mark, I'm thinking about doing a giveaway prize. So once my YouTube hits 1,000, I'll give away a prize to somebody. So I'm in the process of thinking about that. And then I'm also in the process, before I leave, of kindly asking that if anybody is interested in donating prizes towards my knit-along, or just donating prizes in general towards the Killtocraft podcast for future giveaways, they would be very kindly received. I'm looking for any designers that might want to give a pattern, or a maker who might want to donate a project bag or a needle case or anything along those lines, tote bags, things like this. Dyers who might want to give a skein. Anything crafty related, basically. I'm not going to pinhole what you send, whether it's just knitting related, because I know a lot of knitters create other things. So if you do want to donate anything to the podcast for my knit-alongs, please get in touch with me on Ravelry. I'm Killtocraft on there. Send me an email and we will keep in touch and sort out some arrangements. So I think that's it for today. I've loved chatting with you all, and I hope you all had a great Christmas, and I hope you're all into the January knitting frenzy, because it's getting colder now. We've had a quite unseasonably warm weather over the past few months when it should have been getting colder. Feels like it's kind of been getting too warm, and now the temperatures all of a sudden dropped, and it's a lot to get used to. But it means that we get to knit more. So I hope you all get your knitting needles out this weekend and enjoy knitting some treats for yourself. Have a great time, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye!